The camera pans across a quiet suburban neighborhood. It's early morning, golden sunlight streaming across tidy front lawns, the smell of fresh cut grass hanging in the air. We move inside a house, where the chaos of modern American life is just waking up. Now, let me take you to a Tuesday morning in Maplewood, Ohio, a place where the houses look like they've jumped straight out of a magazine ad for lawnmowers. You know the type: white picket fences, American flags fluttering lazily on porches, SUVs parked in driveways still covered with a thin layer of morning dew. The sky is clear, the kind of bright blue that makes you believe the day is going to behave itself. But trust me, inside the Henderson household, no such promise existed. We meet David Henderson, a mid-40s project manager for a tech company. The kind of guy who still wears khakis with polo shirts, even when working from home. His hair is neatly combed, but not by choice. It's the kind of hair that naturally falls into a dad haircut. Inside his modest two-story colonial-style house, beige siding, shutters painted hunter green, life is buzzing. His wife Karen is brewing coffee in the kitchen, wearing leggings and a sweatshirt that says Lake Michigan, 1998. Their teenage daughter, Emily, is scrolling through TikTok at the breakfast table while their dog, a golden retriever named Buddy, is already on his second attempt at sneaking bacon off someone's plate. David Henderson had a big day. The quarterly review meeting with the entire regional team. And because this was the age of working from home, and because the universe has a sense of humor, it was all happening on Zoom. He'd prepared his slides. He'd rehearsed his pitch. He'd even ironed the top half of his shirt. Yeah, the top half, because like any reasonable American working remotely, David subscribed to the sacred law of 2020's Zoom etiquette. Business up top, sweatpants down below. David checks his watch nervously. Meeting starts at 9. Plenty of time, he tells himself. He doesn't notice that Buddy the dog has decided his favorite new toy is the Wi-Fi router cable. Meanwhile, Karen calls out from the kitchen, "David, you better test your microphone this time. Last time you sounded like Darth Vader ordering drive-through." Emily laughs without looking up from her phone. "Yeah, Dad, don't embarrass yourself in front of Mr. Peterson again. He looked like he was about to call tech support for your entire soul." David sighs, adjusting his collar. "Very funny. You'll both see, today, no issues." Now, if you've ever been on a Zoom call, you know that statement right there. That's the universe's cue to roll its sleeves up and say, "Challenge accepted." And boy, oh boy, was the universe ready to play. David sits down at his desk upstairs. His home office is a repurposed guest bedroom, decorated with a sad motivational poster that says teamwork makes the dream work and the half-dead plant he keeps forgetting to water. The desk is cluttered with coffee mugs and sticky notes, but at the center sits his prized possession, a shiny new laptop he bought after his old one froze during a client presentation. He puts on his headset, checks his hair in the webcam preview, gives himself a thumbs up. David was ready. He was armed with slides, stats, and just enough fake enthusiasm to make quarterly growth sound like winning the Super Bowl. But, as every American household knows, the true battle isn't just with your boss. It's with your Wi-Fi, and with your family, and, if we're being honest, with yourself. Downstairs, Buddy starts barking furiously at the mailman. The barking echoes through the thin walls. David mutes himself quickly. "Buddy, not now," he yells, waving his arms like a baseball coach trying to signal home base. Karen yells from the kitchen, "Don't yell at the dog, he's protecting the house." David rolls his eyes. Protecting the house from envelopes. Perfect. Meanwhile, Emily has decided the best place to practice her TikTok dance is directly outside David's office door. The sound of clapping, stomping, and music blasting from her phone filters in. David opens the door. "Emily, please, quiet." Emily smirks. "What, you don't want background dances for your big Zoom performance?" He shuts the door, muttering under his breath. And so began the ritual every American worker knew too well, the sacred pre-Zoom meltdown. A prayer to the Wi-Fi gods. A plea for silence from family. A hope that whatever nonsense happens, at least your boss doesn't see it. At exactly 9 a.m., the Zoom call opens. Brady Bunch squares fill the screen, coworkers in their own homes scattered across America. Mr. Peterson the boss, mid-50s, crisp white shirt, looks like he's permanently disappointed. Samantha HR rep, always cheerful, with a cat that occasionally walks across her keyboard. Robert finance guy, sitting in what appears to be his garage surrounded by fishing gear. Linda marketing lead, sipping Starbucks while her toddler climbs up her chair. David straightens his shirt, smiles into the webcam, and unmutes. Good morning, everyone, hope you're all doing well. Except no sound comes out. His lips move, his screen lights up, but silence. And there it was, the first blooper of the day. The silent movie act. David's coworkers watched his mouth move like he was auditioning for a bad lip sync challenge, while his daughter outside the door actually was doing a bad lip sync challenge. Samantha waves. David, we can't hear you. Robert chuckles. He looks like he's giving us the weather report but forgot the microphone. David panics, fumbling with buttons. Finally, after 30 seconds of chaos, his voice suddenly blasts through. Can you hear me now? Everyone flinches as if a tornado siren just went off. If you've ever screamed into your laptop thinking the problem is volume and not, the giant mute button glowing red. Congratulations. You're in the club. A club David Henderson just got promoted in. Just as David settles in and begins presenting slides, talking proudly about productivity and revenue, a knock comes at his office door. He ignores it. Then the door swings open. Buddy, the golden retriever, trots in proudly holding David's boxes in his mouth like a trophy. Emily follows, chasing after the dog. Dad, Buddy stole the laundry again. On Zoom, Robert nearly spits out his coffee. Samantha gasps. Linda covers her toddler's eyes. David freezes. Sorry everyone, family emergency. He mutes himself, chasing Buddy in circles while Emily yells. The camera captures every chaotic second. Now, here's the thing about Zoom bloopers. They're never subtle. They're not just a frozen screen or a dropped call. No, they are life's way of saying, hey, remember that thing you were trying to hide from the professional world? Yeah, let's show that right now, in HD. By the time David returns to his chair, hair messed up, shirt untucked, Buddy finally bribed with a dog treat, the entire team is laughing. Even Mr. Peterson has cracked a smile. David exhales. As I was saying, productivity is up 12%. The meeting continues with interruptions, Karen vacuuming in the background, Emily yelling at her Wi-Fi, Buddy barking at squirrels, but something shifts. Instead of annoyance, the team begins sharing their own bloopers. Samantha's cat jumps onto her keyboard, typing a string of nonsense into the chat. Robert's fishing rods collapse behind him. Linda's toddler steals her coffee and runs off camera screaming with joy. And suddenly, it wasn't just a meeting anymore. It was a reminder that no matter how professional we try to look on screen, life keeps barging in. Kids, pets, noise, chaos, they don't stop just because you clicked join meeting. And maybe, just maybe, that's not a bad thing. By the end of the call, laughter has replaced stress. Even Mr. Peterson admits, well, I guess this is what teamwork looks like now. Not just spreadsheets and slides, but surviving the bloopers together. David smiles, realizing that maybe his embarrassing chaos wasn't a failure at all. Maybe it was the thing that made everyone feel human again. So there you have it. Scene 1, David Henderson vs. Zoom. A battle of mute buttons, barking dogs, and family chaos. A battle he didn't win perfectly, but one that reminded everyone on that call that behind every little square on Zoom is a real American household, with real noise, real love, and real life happening. And that's worth smiling about. The camera fades from the morning sunshine to the soft golden haze of afternoon. Maplewood's suburban streets are quiet again. The mail truck's gone, kids riding bikes on sidewalks, sprinklers spinning on front lawns. The Henderson household, however, is gearing up for round 2 of Zoom chaos. You'd think one blooper-filled Zoom call would be enough for a day, right? One round of mute button panic, barking dogs, and boxes on display chaos should humble any man. But this was America in the age of remote work, and the universe wasn't finished with David Henderson yet. Not even close. After the morning's chaos, David tried to calm himself. He made a sandwich, classic turkey and cheese with a pickle on the side, sat on the porch for a breather, and told himself, it's fine. The worst is over. The autumn breeze carried the smell of leaves and distant barbecue grills. Neighbors were out raking their yards. Across the street, Mr. Thompson, the retired Navy guy, waved as he watered his lawn for the 3rd time that day. Life looked peaceful again. Inside, however, chaos was loading like a browser tab stuck on buffering. Because here's the thing about Zoom bloopers, they don't come alone. They travel in packs. Like raccoons raiding your garbage cans, one shows up, and suddenly you've got 5 more digging through your life. At 3 p.m. sharp, David had a second Zoom call. This wasn't just any meeting, this was the big one. The national team call. People from New York, Chicago, Dallas, even corporate HQ in San Francisco would be there. Over 100 little squares staring back. Karen peeked into the office before it started. Need anything? Coffee? A calming meditation playlist? David waved her off, though he was nervously tugging at his collar. I'll be fine. This one's important, so, please keep everyone quiet. Emily, sprawled on the couch downstairs in sweatpants, called out, Don't worry, Dad, we'll just keep living our lives while you try to be the next Steve Jobs upstairs. Buddy barked as if in agreement. David logged in early this time, determined to avoid mistakes. He adjusted his lighting, angled the lamp just right, made sure his face wasn't in shadow. He even tested the microphone, testing, 1, 2, 3, like a kid practicing for a school play. The Brady Bunch grid filled with faces. Some people were in professional home offices with bookshelves behind them, carefully staged like they were running for Congress. Others were sitting at kitchen tables with laundry piles sneaking into view. A few had fancy virtual backgrounds, beaches, skylines, outer space, pretending their lives were more glamorous than reality. David took a deep breath. This is it. And here's where the real test begins. Because if the morning Zoom was a blooper reel, the afternoon Zoom. That was the feature film. And oh, it had special effects. Just as David was about to share his carefully prepared slides, boom. The screen froze. His face locked mid-blink, mouth open like he'd been caught in the world's worst driver's license photo. On everyone else's screens, his voice turned into a robotic mess. SSS sales, GRGR grow WWWWTHHH, TW12%. Then silence. Ah yes, the Wi-Fi betrayal. The cruelest of all Zoom bloopers. 1 minute you're Shakespeare delivering a monologue. The next, you're Max Headroom glitching in front of your entire company. David scrambled. He reset the router. He clicked reconnect. Meanwhile, downstairs, Emily was streaming a movie, Karen was video calling her sister, and Buddy had knocked the router halfway under the couch while chasing a dust bunny. By the time David reconnected, the team was already laughing. Someone had turned his frozen screenshot into their virtual background. Another had dropped it into the chat with the caption, New company mascot. David buried his face in his hands. Okay, let's try this again. Things seemed to settle, until David tried using Zoom's virtual background feature to look more professional. He picked a sleek office stock photo, polished wood desk, big windows, city skyline. Except Zoom's green screen effect wasn't cooperating. Every time David moved, parts of his body disappeared. His arm vanished mid-gesture. His head floated above the fake desk. At one point, Buddy walked behind him, but Zoom turned the golden retriever into a ghostly floating head in the middle of the screen. The chat exploded with laughter. David's being Thanos snapped. Haunted dog alert. Floating torso Fridays. David fumbled with settings, sweat glistening on his forehead. You know, there's something humbling about watching a grown man try to deliver serious financial numbers while his right arm literally vanishes into thin air. It's the kind of comedy you don't need Netflix for, because Zoom brings it right into your living room for free. Just when David thought things couldn't get worse, the office door creaked open. This time it wasn't Buddy. It was Karen, holding a giant basket of laundry. Sorry honey, just need to grab the sheets. Oh. Are you Liv? She froze, realizing her mistake. But it was too late. She was in frame, holding his plaid boxes high like a trophy, as if presenting them to the entire national team. Gasps. Then roars of laughter. David's boss in San Francisco wiped tears from his eyes. David, I think your wife just won the meeting. Karen turned beet red. Sorry. She shuffled out, dropping socks along the way like breadcrumbs. And here's the thing about Zoom bloopers. They're equal opportunity offenders. They don't just target you. Oh no, they take down the whole family. Dogs, kids, spouses, they're all part of the show. Whether they signed up for it or not. David wanted to crawl under the desk. He wanted to shut the laptop, fake a power outage, and move to Alaska. But something happened. Instead of mocking him, the entire team started sharing their own bloopers. One coworker admitted her toddler once yelled, "I need to poop," during a board call. Another confessed his cat walked across his keyboard and ended a meeting early. Someone else said they once stood up during a Zoom and forgot they weren't wearing pants. The chat lit up with stories. The rigid corporate energy melted into something human, something real. And that's when David realized something. These bloopers, these ridiculous, messy, embarrassing moments, they weren't failures. They were bridges. They connected everyone in that call. From San Francisco to New York, from Chicago to Maplewood, every single square on that screen was just a person, trying their best while life laughed in the background. David smiled, leaned into the camera, and said, "Well, if nothing else, I hope my bloopers helped remind us that behind the spreadsheets and reports, we're all just human. Imperfect. And maybe that's what makes us work so well together." The team applauded. His boss nodded. "You know what, David? Best presentation I've seen in months. Not because of the slides, because of the honesty." The meeting ended. The house quieted. David shut his laptop and sank back into his chair, exhausted but strangely relieved. Downstairs, Emily popped her head into the office. "Hey Dad," she smirked. "You kinda went viral in your company, huh?" David chuckled. "Yeah, not the way I planned, but maybe the way I needed." Karen walked in, sheepish. "Sorry again about the laundry cameo." David kissed her forehead. "Honestly, you probably saved the meeting." Buddy barked, tail wagging, as if claiming credit too. And as the sun set over Maplewood, painting the sky orange and pink, David Henderson realized something important. Life will always throw bloopers your way, on Zoom, at work, at home. You can fight them, or you can laugh with them. And if you laugh, you might just discover that those bloopers aren't distractions. They're reminders. Reminders that life isn't perfect, and it doesn't need to be. Because sometimes, the mess is the magic. So, next time your Wi-Fi crashes, your dog barks, your kid shouts something embarrassing, or your spouse accidentally walks into frame, don't panic. Don't hide. Smile. Because somewhere, on the other side of the screen, someone's blooper is making them feel just as human as you. And together, that's how we survive Zoom, and maybe even life.
Like and subscribe if you want daily dose of happiness and motivation.